It is time for chapter 139 of Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Be sure to like and comment down below on this crazy chapter. And if you want more Four Nights and Seven Sins, subscribe to the channel and hopefully we can beat the dang algorithm. But now, last time on Four Nights of the Apocalypse, the mad herbalist Nasiens found a new home in the fairy realm with the royal family. After a failed attempt of testing a new drug on the lifeless body of Percival, Nasiens found himself in familiar company with the Fairy King and the Giant Queen, along with their new family. But the moment was ruined by the intense prejudice of the oldest child, Myrtle, a name I wish that Nakaba did better with. It's here that we find the justified prejudice that the child of a giant and a fairy has. But the heated moment was interrupted by the appearance of a changeling, a human baby who has been swapped out with a fairy baby due to the annoyance of a little shit trickster fairy. Once caught, Myrtle acts as judge and soon to be executioner before being stopped by Nasiens. Now the two square off for an epic clash. So we start off where we left off, with Myrtle and Nasiens being ready to fight. We see Nasiens and Myrtle arguing about how to handle the situation. Myrtle is very brash, saying that there's no use in trying to ask a fairy why he switched out the human baby with a fairy baby, because to them, it's just a game. This is in contrast with Nasiens, who at this point at least wants to make sure that the baby is returned and everyone goes home alive, with Tioreh agreeing with him, showing once again why I am just loving this girl. Seriously, if Anne and Tioreh were to meet up, I bet they become the best of friends. Things start to heat up between Myrtle and Nasiens, with Tioreh backing up the herbalist as opposed to her own brother. Rude. And it's here the fight begins. Myrtle and Nasiens draw their blades and begin their epic clash. Myrtle has the giant fighting spirit and has wasted no time in clashing against Nasiens, while the herbalist draws his own blades. Just when things look worse for Nasiens, he shows a hidden trick up his sleeve with two needles enchanted with his own poisons, like a freaking assassin. Tioreh cheers while irresponsibly tossing up the baby. Don't do that. But Myrtle seems to have some kind of tolerance against poison and just drop kicks Nasiens easily while pulling out the needles from his chest like a boss. Okay, despite the bad name and his weird face, Myrtle is apparently a good fighter. Props to him. Before the Kiane kid could do anything, Tioreh shows off her magic, Escanor style. She summons the Morrison. Okay, so a little FYI. In the Seven Deadly Sins Origins games, it's found out that Tioreh can summon animals representing the seven deadly sins and their corresponding, symbols. We got lion, we got a dragon, a fox, a goat, a bear, and now we get the boar. I think that all that's left is the snake. Hey, it's her mom. Tioreh uses her hawk-looking pig to stop Myrtle, and the guide says, you know what, F this, I'll return the baby, but not before showing off some weird signs. After pulling a Will Smith and telling Nasiens to keep his damn name out of his damn mouth, Myrtle uses prescription drugs. I hope that comes back later, which is weird. So after taking his pills, he grabs the baby and the troublemaker and leaves to do the right thing. After the fiasco, Nasiens and Tioreh travel to a new location, with Nasiens asking if his presence is making everyone in the fairy realm uneasy. But Tioreh assures him that everything is fine, and it's just her brother being too high and mighty and too much of a blockhead. But Nasiens has pointed out that King and Kiane have been giving Nasiens some very strange looks every now and then, as seen in the last chapter, which builds on to possibly a theory of mine, but we'll have to see. While traveling, Nasiens mentioned how lucky that he had gotten. He was abandoned in a fairy forest too when he was little, but he was abandoned in a location with people who actually took care of him. They treated him like family, like a son, like a little brother. While others may not have gotten lucky, Nasiens might have undergone the same fate, but he was the lucky one. For without that, he wouldn't have met Percival, Donnie, Anne, and the other Four Nights of the Apocalypse, eventually leading up to meeting the Fairy King family. And it's here we get a big, massive review. After showing up a comic page that I cannot in good conscience show on YouTube, it is revealed that Nasiens is a girl. Nani? Wow. So there was a theory going around about Nasiens being potentially a girl, and this is real? Oh my god. Nakaba, what did you do? And that was chapter 139 of Four Nights. Okay, so it was all right. We got to see Tioreh in action, Nasiens versus Myrtle, and a very shocking amount of content. You're gonna have to see the original material because I cannot show it here. And a little side tangents here and there. Okay, so Nasiens being revealed to be a girl. That was shocking. Very shocking. But to be fair, it was slightly hinted at, kind of, mostly in the volume chapters or the extras, where in one, Nasiens apparently gives all of his friends a gender swapping magic potion because it's a fantasy series and you gotta have that. Where we see both the female and the male versions swapped out with the different characters. When Percival asked Nasiens, he refused to tell. So maybe this was a hint. So Nasiens isn't technically a boy, he's trans? Huh? How did this work? Okay, now let's talk about Myrtle. I'll be honest, I wish Myrtle had done more magic wise. Do you know how hyped fans were to see a giant fairy hybrid using magic? Tioreh is clearly showing more of the fairy side, but a hybrid of both that hasn't been seen. Droll and Gloxinia are clear examples of what we had got going on when both a giant and a fairy mixed their magic together in combo spells. So an individual hybrid of both could easily do that, without a hitch. Just take Tristan Leonis, for example. He's able to use both light and darkness, but with the fairy and giant clans, their magic should mix so much easier compared to light and darkness. Aside from the strength, which honestly goes to any other human who just trains hard, they can go just as fast and strong. We have seen this with other characters. And it's here I can't really see Myrtle as a real Kiane kid. Maybe those pills he takes is some kind of sign that shows why he can't use his ability. I don't know. But I still have a theory, or at least believe in one, some fans are having. The theory is, what if Myrtle was swapped out as a baby, just like another changeling? Myrtle is the only one showing off signs that are neither giant or fairy. He doesn't show off any of them. It could be due to that weird mixed lineage, like he's not able to do many things like levitation or use creation. But let's look at another fairy hybrid, Lancelot. Lancelot is also half fairy despite looking mostly human. However, he does have some of the standard fairy abilities like shapeshifting and mind reading, at the cost of not being able to levitate or fly like his Uncle King and his Mama Lane, who were actually late bloomers, and many have instigated that maybe Myrtle is also a late bloomer. But this is my theory, not anyone else's yet. But what if the real child of King and Diane was somewhere out there in a kingdom that discourages the other races, like how Myrtle and other fairies discourage humans? If there is going to be an invasion on the realm sometime in the future, these two could square off, and holy crap, that would be so Shakespearean. A human and a fairy swapped at birth, each being taught to hate the other race, and thus creating a prejudice against themselves. Imagine the look on Myrtle's face when he finds out that he's just a regular human all this time. He's been hating what he truly was. But that's for another time. Tune in next time for Four Nights of the Apocalypse. I'll see you later, mortals.